Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a little bit of a mashup of a video for you guys. I have a really small haul for you guys, and I wanted to do a little painting with me also because I will be using some of these things in the paint with me. Right now I'm in the process of changing up the materials that I used before in the past, and I'm looking for new watercolor paper. I was using Arches cold press paper in the past, and I do really love that paper, but because I use mixed media, it was really difficult to get the look that I wanted. So I am trying hot press paper now, and so because I didn't know if I was gonna like it, I wanted to go a little bit of a cheaper route, but I'm gonna get to all that in a second. Later on in the video, as I show you the paint with me, I'll go into detail about that, but right now let's just get started with the haul. Okay, so first things first, I got this rubber cement eraser pickup by Speedball, and I got this because when I use masking fluid, I didn't want to do this to the painting or the paper. So I got this because I usually see a lot of watercolor artists, or just artists in general, use these to pick up the masking fluid. They just scrape the end of it like that and it comes right on up. So I just decided to grab me one of those, and I believe that was like $3 from my local Jerry's Artorama. And then I decided to just get me a utility knife. I think it's called a utility knife, Smart Snap knife. And basically because I keep losing the little bitty ones, the cute little bitty ones that are all on like TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff like that, I keep losing them. So I just decided to get this cute big one, so I'll know where it is. It's in plain sight. I decided to get this brush, Mandale. Yeah, I got this because to do solid background washes. I have smaller brushes, but I just can never get the background wash that I wanted. So I decided to get one of these after seeing one of my favorite artists use this in his watercolor paintings. So I also picked this up from my local Jerry's Artorama. Then I got some more Holbein artist colored pencils, and I really like these. For me, they are completely different from the Faber-Castell pencils, because these are a lot more creamier, and the Faber-Castells to me are a lot more rough and textured. They're still really great pencils. I still really like the Faber-Castell. I still use them a lot, but these are a bit creamier, so I just wanted to pick up a couple more of these, and I got these in warm gray, and then the second one I got was in the color peach. And then my local art store, they just got in some Daniel Smith gouache. So of course I had to try it, because Daniel Smith is one of my top favorite paints that I use all the time. So yeah, I only got one color because I didn't want to commit. I have so many gouaches already. I just wanted to see how this color was by itself, and I got Raw Sienna, and it is PBR7, which is my favorite brown. I use PBR7 in the Daniel Smith watercolor for my skin tone, so I just wanted to pick this up and see how I liked it, and if I did, I could always just go back and get more. So this is a paper that I am going to be trying out, Strathmore 500 series hot press watercolor paper, and it's a little bit cheaper. For 10 sheets at my local art store, I believe it was $12. Arches was $17 for 12 sheets. So I wanted to give this a try in case I did not like it. It's not a crap ton of money that I dropped on some really expensive paper. I just wanted to give this a try. So yeah, I'm gonna be making my illustration with this bad boy, so I'm really excited. And then Michael's was having a huge sale. They were having a really big sale, and they were having buy one get one free on the Strathmore 500 series mixed media sketchbook. And I already have used this sketchbook in the past before, and I really did like it. I would say the only thing I didn't like about it, which is really not even a dislike, is that it just took me way too long to complete the sketchbook. But other than that, I really liked the paper. It's not a stark white, it's more of like a off white, but it's not so much of an off white like the moleskin off white. That's more like a cream. This is like a white going into a cream, so if that's the best way to describe it. So yeah, they were on sale for buy one get one free, and I just could not pass it up because I remember I really did like the sketchbook. It just took me forever to finish it, and that's why I just didn't go back to it, but I had to pick it up because it was on sale. It was like a really good deal. So yeah, those are all the things that I got in my little small recent haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, let's move on to the painting portion of this video. So like I said, I will be giving you my thoughts on this Strathmore 100% cotton paper 500 series. I actually had a pack of this paper before and didn't even notice it until I got home and was like, I feel like I have that paper somewhere. But I had it in these in this smaller size, and it was like from 2 years ago, and I just put it away and never used it. But because I realized I had it, I was like, well, let me test the techniques that I use on this smaller paper versus using, you know, an 8x10 size paper. But right here, I'm just really testing, like I said, the techniques that I use, how the colors flow on the paper, how they mix on paper, masking fluid to see if it gives any harsh lines, to see if anything granulates, you know, testing how pencil works, how fine liners work, how color pencils work, how masking tape works, just all of the things that I use in my daily process. And once I did that, it was time for me to start painting because everything looked like it normally would. So once I started painting, I quickly realized, why am I trying to use this small brush to cover this large area that I'm trying to cover? Eventually, I get over that and I use a bigger brush and it works out a little bit better, but I had no idea what I was doing when I first started this. Never painted this big of a size with watercolor before, like trying to get a large area down. But moving on, as you can see, I'm painting a large area and I'm using a lot of, well, not a lot, but a pretty good amount of water and a pretty good amount of paint. And I will say the paper did hold up really good. Now, the background was probably 3 to 4, I believe 4 layers of watercolor. I had to wait until it completely dried, and then I was able to add another layer on top of that. And it pretty much went flat. There was minimal buckling, and I was a little bit shocked because I didn't expect it, because, you know, I'm used to arches, you know, the paper of all papers, as the YouTubes like to call it. But it did really well. I think every paint layer that I have on this paper is probably 3 to 4 layers, and that's usually how I work. And this paper had no problem dealing with those 3 to 4 layers. The masking fluid that I used worked really well. It didn't tear the paper at all, came right off, which was really great. Now, testing out a new paper compared to your old paper, you start to notice things. And one thing that I did note is that you cannot scrub on this paper. On my arches, when I make a slight mistake, I'm able to scrub with my brush a little bit to lift that paint up. On this one, you probably get like a good 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 passes over it with your brush before you can try to lift the mistake, or otherwise the paper seems like, not tears, but it starts to go fuzzy in that area, and if you ever do it on this paper, you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, okay, let me stop now before something goes bad. That's the feeling you get when you do this. I don't know why in the past I just didn't put two and two together, that because my art style and my art technique is to use mixed media, that I should probably use hot press paper. And I believe it's because every watercolor artist that I follow on YouTube and Instagram, they always use cold press paper. And because of that, I just equate it to, well, I need cold press paper, and that's not necessarily true. The funny thing is that in the past, when I very first started using watercolors, I used hot press paper, and it was because I didn't like the texture of cold press paper with my mixed media illustrations. But because everybody used it, I was like, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong. So I just immediately switched over to cold press paper, and I just never looked back. And this is probably why I just was like, why are my illustrations not looking the way I think they should look or want them to look? But yeah, hopping back over to hot press paper, I realized, okay, this is what I want. This is what I like to do. This is giving me the look that I like in my illustrations. So I believe from here moving forward, I will be using hot press paper, and I'm loving it. I'm here for it. This paper did exactly everything that I needed it to do. It handled all the media that I threw at it, which don't forget to check the description box below, because all of the tools that I used in today's video will be down in the description box. So go ahead and check that out. But yeah, it literally took everything that I threw at it, all of the layers that I personally use in my illustration. It worked really good with it. I will say, if I had to compare it to my Arches cold press paper, Arches is a teensy bit better. I'm not gonna say astronomically better, but it is a pretty good paper, which is why everybody likes to use it. This, however, did a great job on its own. I don't know if that's a really fair comparison to compare it to Arches cold press to this being Strathmore hot press, but as far as paper wise, this did everything that I wanted to do, and I'm really happy with the outcome. With Arches, I was really happy with the outcome there. This is just a much cheaper version, and it works well. So if you cannot afford Arches watercolor paper, I personally would recommend trying this paper out in the cold press or the hot press, because it is 100% cotton paper. And as you can see, no tears at all. It worked beautifully with the masking tape, and that also has to do with the type of tape that you're using as well. So just keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it did help someone out. Don't forget to check the description box down below for all the materials, and also my coffee shop and my Instagram if you guys want to check that out. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.